Hi, how's everybody doing? It's Paul once again from Magpie 24/7, out and about, getting stuff done during the close season. I'm already, hands up, who's ready for the new season already? Definitely me. I'm already counting the days down till the new season. Not too long until the fixtures come out. Hopefully Sunderland at home on the first day of the season. That would be really nice. Fingers crossed about that one, but more about that later on. Today's video is about contracts and transfers. Some people, it's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? Some people love it, some people hate it. There's plenty of speculation about, there's plenty of rumours, there's plenty of Callum inches being taken up by Newcastle United. We have a list of targets, we are working down them. We're in this bonus little mini transfer window, which I honestly don't expect us to do anything at all in, because it's got to be done by the 10th, then it's shut for a little bit, then it's open again and goes right the way through till obviously the end of August, first day of September type job. So yeah, we're getting linked with everybody, aren't we? Everybody in the mother, but you can see the positions that clearly we are interested in, with all the stories, with all the journalists focusing on striking reinforcements, a right winger, centre back and a goalkeeper. Because we love at Newcastle United, we love an extra goalkeeper, just in case there is a crisis where there's 5, 6 or 7 keepers out. We need those additional keepers, you see. It's absolutely crackers, and it's bonkers time of year. But I'll start with right wingers, because I want to get onto contract situations, and obviously the retain list that was put out recently. But lots to talk about Elanga coming in. We were after him on the last day of the last transfer window last summer. It was a bit of a knee-jerk panic situation, obviously, like a player that we've checked out many times, but ultimately we weren't able to do a deal. Forest were never going to sell, whether, let's face facts. Why would you sell a player, a first team player, on the last day of the transfer window with no time to replace him? But we've come back, we bided our time. I think Brian Mbembo was the first choice. Clearly he's going to Manchester United, or will go to Manchester United, as long as Manchester United can find enough change down the back of the sofa to be able to finance the deal. I think there's some wangling about terms. Man United are wanting a lot on the old never. Brentford, quite rightly, are wanting their money up front, but park that one to one side, because clearly it's not a one that Newcastle United can do, and nor do I think that we should do. It's a massive transfer fee, fair enough. He's a quality player, he gets the assists, he gets the goals, you pay the money, you get the player, you pay for what you get. But on the wages that he's wanting, absolutely astronomical. And you've got to think in terms of, if you bring somebody in on those sort of wages, then your Isaacs want it, then your Brunos want it, and your Tonali's want it. Everybody will want a piece, a slice of the pie. They'll want parity. So if you're not to bring somebody in and upset the status quo, then you've got to recruit within the current wage constraints, the current wage budget, the current top earners. So I think it was, ultimately, although we're missing out on a quality player, I think it's the right thing. It's a smart decision in the big scheme of things. And we've moved on to Elanga. Now Elanga, a right winger, definitely a priority position. We've got Murphy at the season of his absolute life last time out, but he needs competition. Since Miggy's gone, he's got no competition. Some people will put in the comments, I can already feel it, that having Miggy, there was no competition, he wasn't providing any competition. But we need to sign, with us now being in 4 competitions, fighting on 4 fronts next time round, playing additional games, even more than last time in the Champions League, with obviously the new system, which will be the first time that we've been into this new system. But extra games in Europe, cup competitions, which we need to prioritise. We need to target and try and push on, and try and win another cup. Now we've got the monkey of power back, let's go for extra stuff. But I think Elanga would be a smart move at the right price. I don't think he's a 50-60 million pound player, to be honest. I think we went in at around about 30-35 with add-ons and stuff last time out for him. I think anything around about the 40 million pound mark is probably somewhere around about right. It's what we should really be playing for somebody like him. He had a very good season last season. He's got pace, and imagine him on one side, you've got Gordon, on the other side you've got Isaac running through the middle, on a counter attack with pace. It will put the absolutely fear of God. It'll put the shits up the opposition. It certainly will. He is a brilliant player, you know. He gets the assists, he gets goals, it causes panic in opposition defence. He's played well when he's played against Newcastle United, of course, as well. And no doubt there'll be a bit of a pull on his behalf. Obviously, he's a Swedish player, bit of a Swedish mafia job going on if he comes, because we will have, of course, Isak, Elanga, and Emil Kraft as well. So 3 absolutely top quality Swedish players. Bit of a Swedish revolution going on there. If we can, you know, get the deal done. So there'll be no problems with regards to settling in. They've clearly done the homework on the lad. They've been watching him for a long time. And if the deal doesn't come off, you know, Eddie Howe has already said, it's been suggested in articles left, right and centre, that if players don't come in, if you don't get your first target, your second target, we're not to worry, because there are multiple people that have been scouted, agreed on, budgets worked out. You know, so there is a list to be able to work down, and I think it's not a case of a drop of quality, it's just maybe different strengths and the like. So I think whatever happens, I think we just need to be patient. It's at the very beginning of a bonus transfer window, and things will take time. I expect us to make 3 or 4 first team signings and a host of young players for the youth team. We've already seen it over the course of this calendar year. And again, with, you know, Cordero coming in, he's been the first official signing, although he's due to be loaned out, isn't he, next season? But, you know, we can't go ahead and sign, you know, 6, 7, 8 first team players ready-made, ready to drop into the team. We've got to act smart. We've got to be able to invest on future potential, taking an educated chance, if you will, on some younger players. And by the superstars of tomorrow, but by them today, and through excellent coaching, through the tutelage of Eddie Howe, bring them up to the standard that we need. That's going to be the plan. I expect us, as the PIF project goes along more and more, we'll be signing less ready-made first-team players, more youngsters, because that conveyor belt of talent will start to come through, and we'll see the players that we have signed over the last, you know, year or two, this season, this summer even as well, start to come through. So I think that is the plan, to buy ready for the future, to get the conveyor belt going. But for the time being, obviously we've got needs up top, wide right, in central defence, and because it's Eddie Howe, probably a goalkeeper as well. So those are likely to be the positions that we, you know, that we look to strengthen in. But Elanga seems to be all the talk at the moment, and I'd be delighted. You know, he's not a world-class, you know, prestigious talent, but what he is, like I say, lightning quick. He's got assists, he's got goals in him. He'd fit into the system, he'd track back, he'd be able to run forward, get crosses in, he'd be able to get goals, and, you know, he already has that understanding from the international scene with Isak. So it's winner all the way over, and it ticks so many boxes. Talking about boxes, Callum Wilson, we'll get on to him next. Obviously there was some contract shenanigans over the last couple of weeks. There was a list released this week as well, our retained list. On that retained list, it confirmed that Mark Gillespie, he was going to stay. He's got the cushiest job, that lad, in the world. He really is. He's living the dream, and I don't knock him for it, not for 1 second. Hopefully he's not on mega wages, because I can't imagine him ever pulling the shirt on competitively for Newcastle United. I just can't see it. He's there to put the cones out, to be a cheerleader, to work with the youngsters, and to be a backup there just in case. John Ruddy has been offered another contract. That's the head scratcher for me, because obviously we've been linked over the last couple of days with moves for Tim Krul and Fraser Forster. With regards to club trained homegrown players, we've only got possibly up to 2, Sean Longstaff and Joe White. We'll have to see what the situation is with Joe at the moment, because he's had loan spells out, but he does qualify. So if we've got 2 there and could maybe sign a goalkeeper or something on top, you know, who I've listed before, then again it ticks the UEFA criteria to build the squad up a little bit more. So I was surprised we offered Ruddy another contract, because obviously he's got to be registered in it, doesn't he, to be able to be part of it. And I can't see it, if I'm being honest. I really can't. But we have offered him a contract. There's no denying that. It came out. In Eddie Howe, we clearly trust. He's clearly impressed a lot of people behind the scenes. He hasn't had a second's worth of action. He has been on the bench a couple of times when we've had two keepers on the bench, which is my pet hate. That's what I want to see eradicated for next season. No two keepers on the bench, you know. I'm not for that. It really irks me every time I see it, and we've seen it a few times last season. But yeah, Eddie's clearly seen something, you know, whether it's, again, the coaching, the helping out, the mentality, the leadership, whatever he's seen in him, he's clearly thought, you know, I want to keep him around for next season. I want to continue that on. And a lot of it with Eddie Howe is about unity and making small changes, and it's the evolution rather than revolution type thing on it, isn't it? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he agrees the deal or not. I can't imagine it's for a lot of money. I really can't. But we'll get to the next one, and that is the one that caused probably the most debate when the post was put out, you know, over the last couple of days, and that's Callum Wilson. We all saw the scenes on the last game of the season. Very emotional Callum Wilson. A bit like Dubravka when he was suspected that he would be leaving. Quite emotional out on the pitch. And then it turns out that the club haven't taken the option up on him, but are talking to him about an incentivised deal. A performance-based contract. Now, hopefully, it isn't for a great deal of money. And hopefully, this isn't for Callum Wilson to continue to be the only backup for Isak next season, because fighting on four fronts, his legs have gone. You know, we love him. We love him to bits. He's been a great player. He's got some absolutely fantastic goals. He came to us when, you know, we were deep in the shit. To be honest, during dark times, he gave us a little bit of hope, inspiration, and something to cling on to with regards to goals and do something positive. But look, we all saw it last season. Not a league goal scored last season. He had his injury difficulties as well last campaign. But even when he was fit and he had a decent spell of availability, he just didn't look like it. He didn't look like the same player. He looked a paler imitation of himself, because he has been an absolutely fantastic goal scorer. And my feeling is, look, if we're only going to have another one striker as backup, which is how Eddie Howe has done it, relying on the likes of Murphy and Gordon to fill in as square pegs and round holes for the rest of the squad cover. If we're going to have him as the number 2 choice to Isak, I think it's absolutely kamikaze. I really do. I don't understand it. Obviously, I trust Eddie Howe, the coaching team, the setup, the ownership, 1,000,000%. It's not questioning that. But as a fan, looking from the outside in, it's a strange one. It's a head scratcher. Now look, if we're going to sign Wilson up for another year, and he's going to be 3rd or 4th choice behind a new signing and possibly a Sula, if he trusts him to do that role up top, which I don't think he does yet. I think he looks at him more as a wide right player as opposed to a central striker. But if we park that for one reason, you know, for 1 second, you have Isak as your first choice. You recruit a 2nd choice striker. If it has to be a youngster, it has to be a youngster. I have no problem with that, because I think an established striker would look at it and say, if I go to Newcastle United, I'm going to be second fiddle most of the season to Isak. But look, there's injuries, there's suspension, there's extra games. He can't play every single minute of every single game. And you know, if he is fatigued, or if there is an issue like there was towards, I think, the end of the season, we need to be able to rest him when we need to be able to rest him. But we need a quality replacement to come in, because you lose 1 or 2 games and it can literally make the difference between a successful season and a nearly season or a failure of a season. So it's important that we have quality options, that Eddie Howe has the options off the bench to be able to change things. He has the option in the squad to be able to manage games. So if we're playing Europe midweek and Isak plays, then perhaps at the weekend in a cup game against lower league opposition, you'd play a Wilson, or you'd play an Osula, or you'd play, a new signing to be able to come in. If it's a Premier League game, you might play the new signing in the league, and then Isak midweek in the in the European game, and manage the squad and manage the minutes. And that is what they've done so successfully this season. James Bunce and the rest of the the medical and the sports science team have managed it so well. Injuries have come down a massive amount of days missed. I put a post up on Magpie 24/7 about this, but the injuries have come down so much. We were the worst the season before. This season we're the third best, so that speaks volumes, because we have had some longer term injuries, Lascelles, Wilson, etc. We've been missing players, obviously Sven Botman as well. So if you take those into the equation, we did marvellously well. So we have to be able to have the options next season. And I've talked repeatedly in the past about having balance, about having not 5-6 goalkeepers in the squad, but then not enough strikers. You need balance. So a couple of goalkeepers is fine. 2 left backs, 2 right backs, or players who can play both sides. You've got we need at least probably 4 centre backs to be able to do it, plus maybe a youngster or 2 in reserve after that. It's about having the balance and not all of a sudden running out of players. Because I think, look, the first 11 of Newcastle United can give anybody, when fit, a run for the money, a match-up, a contest, whatever you want to call it. The first team can do that. But we have seen, as soon as you scratch beneath the surface of it, we haven't got the quality additions to be able to make the changes where we need to be able to make the changes. And Eddie Howe and the lads have done amazingly well to get Champions League qualification. With the squad that we've got available to him, with still so many players from even the Championship days. I'm just going to move away from here. But they've performed miracles. They really have. They've punched above the weight. The sum is, the output of the machine has been greater than the sum of its parts in many ways. You look at the likes of Man United, who have obviously punched well below the weight for the quality of players that they've got available on the books. Newcastle United have got 150% out of these lads, each and every one of them. Blood, sweat, tears, they've left it all out there all the time, and that's been the secret, that's been the key to our success. But in the system that Eddie Howe plays, the high intensity, the pressure and all over the place, it does take a lot out of the players. And I am scared that we'll get too many injuries at some point or the other, and it will come a cropper. So it is about balancing the squad out, and maybe not signing as many. I need a guaranteed first team starter in this position. What it is about is, sort of spreading it out, getting the squad balanced and with the right numbers in the right positions, in the right places, so that at the right times we are covered. And it's not a case of, we've got a bit of an injury situation going on at the moment, that's cost us points, that's going to fuck us over in the long scheme of things. And I don't think as well, with regards to attacking reinforcements, which is where we started this off, that we can afford to keep kicking things into the grass for too long. The decision about Callum Wilson has been pushed back, and it's been pushed back and pushed back again. It needs sorting this summer, ideally, you would think. Get Callum Wilson's replacement in whilst he's here, because fuck me, if you're a youngster, and I imagine it would be a youngster who comes in, but if you can get a youngster to come in now, and this is where it's been a masterstroke with Osula as well, but you're learning off the likes of Callum Wilson, you're learning off the likes of Alexander Isak. What absolute brilliant mentors and teachers to have around you. If you're going to learn off somebody, learn off the best. And Callum Wilson has been an absolute fantastic player, and I think as 3rd or 4th choice this season, I'm perfectly fine with that personally. But if we're going into a season again with just Isak and Wilson, and then people trying to masquerade as strikers, the likes of Murphy and Gordon, that's not going to be enough. Not on 4 competitions, not on 4 fronts, not with the games coming literally thick and fast. With all of that Callum Wilson needs to be third or fourth striker, really, and I think he's got to be happy with that at his stage of the career, based upon the season that he's just had and the performances, you know, that he's put out. I think he would be happy with that role. I think he's happy on Tyneside. I'm delighted if he'll stay to be that third or fourth choice striker. But let me know what you think down below. You know, do you think we just need to cut ties and to try and make the budget stretch, or do you think that, look, realistically, there's only so much money in the pot? There's only so many things that they can do. Let me know down below what you think anyway of the situation. Certainly up top, you know, out wide right with regards to competition for Jacob Murphy. Elanga, would you be happy with that signing? And then, you know, I think those are the two priority positions that they're trying to get in. Possibly a goalkeeper as well. And it's hilarious how, you know, the same name keeps coming up time and time again with Trafford. So yeah, let us know what you think about that one as well. Very interesting interview. I'll just touch upon quickly that he did on the Fozcast, talking about transfer last summer. It was obviously about Newcastle United. He spoke very glowingly. He was very excited. He was very interested in the project. He wanted the move. It didn't work out, but he got his head down. He grafted, and he had an absolutely fantastic season in the Championship. Now he's back in the Premier League. Now the figures we were talking about last time around was supposed to be around about £16 million. He'd obviously had a bit of an iffy time in the Premier League, but Eddie Howe, again, we trust him 1000%, still totally rated him. The figures they're talking about this time around, obviously a lot more, double what we were quoted before. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we do have the budget, you know, to be able to do a deal like that with priorities left, right and centre elsewhere. So yeah, Trafford coming in, would you be happy with that? Let me know down below in the comments. Drop me a like if you will. Yeah, drop me a like on this video. That would be absolutely fantastic. It doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to the channel. Again, it doesn't cost anything, but it just helps us and continues us on. I've just pulled up in the local Aldi. Hopefully Newcastle United aren't shopping in the local Aldi. Hopefully they're shopping in maybe the more Marks and Spencer's or Sainsbury's type of establishment. But for the pack of ice that I want on today's agenda, this will do absolutely fine. But yeah, please do subscribe to Magpie 24/7. Support us. Follow us on the rest of our socials: Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads. You know, literally everywhere, left, right, and centre that we are. Thank you for everything. There will be more videos coming up on the channel. The content doesn't stop. The posts don't stop just because it's the summer. Appreciate it. But I will leave it there. I need to go and get my ice and then get back home before the things bloody melt. The things we do for a quiet life, eh? Like I say, roll on the football season. I can't bloody wait, mate, honestly. Yeah, take care. Keep it tuned, and I'll speak.